Hello, love wrestling. It is Tuesday, August 27th. It is 10 a.m. And y'all know what that means. It's another episode here of Firmly WWE. As you can see, I am here. Drew is here. Pay-per-view on Saturday afternoon, Bash in Berlin. We will be previewing that today while going over the things that happened on SmackDown and Raw, but we have you here for the next 90 minutes or so. But first and foremost, now I get it. This is, this is kind of like we have a show. So All In was on Sunday. And now we have a show here where you and I usually talk about AEW a lot of the times. But today we're not going to be talking about All In. We're not talking about All In until 2 days from now.
Yes.
On Thursday. So a little bit, but we are here. We're going to talk a little bit about SmackDown. I was at Raw last night, Drew. I was in the building.
Yes, you took some great pictures.
Yeah, we had good seats. Thank you, WWE. God bless. Yeah, we had some good seats. I got some good pictures. I thought Raw was mid in general. I mean, it's always fun being there. It was a blast. It was a good time. I thought the show itself, not that great. For a go-home show, I was expecting a lot more. I thought the promos sucked on Raw last night.
Really?
Judgment Day promo sucked. Randy Orton promo sucked. I thought they all sucked is strong, but they were not. What new information did we learn from either of these promos?
Well, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like there would, Liv and Dom are going to be on top because they're going to there was nothing new that occurred. I felt like for a go-home show, there would be more. Really, I think the only talkable thing, there's two talkable things about Raw. And again, I thought Raw overall was a pretty decent show. It was just for a go-home show with the role that Raw had been on, I felt like a go-home show would have been more. The two most exciting things that happened last night don't involve anybody on the pay-per-view. If that makes sense. The two most exciting things were the Uncle Howdy debut and Bronson Reed tsunamiing Braun Strowman on top of a cow.
Okay.
Which was
I get that.
The most badass thing I've ever seen. That building exploded when that happened. Like the pop for when he did that inside I don't know if it came across TV that way, but the pop inside the building when everyone realized he was gonna tsunami him out there, and then B, when it actually happened, my God, man. That building was shaking.
They had the crowd a little muted. I would have loved to have been in that crowd to hear that.
Oh, brother. It was going. Like once people started realizing when they were out there and they're on top of the car and then he climbs up, I was with my buddy and I went, is he going to tsunami? I thought he was going to tsunami him off like the little platform they were standing at, but then he went a level up and I was like, oh, and then the windows exploded out and it was just like, oh my God, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So I take it by your reaction that you enjoyed Raw more than I was in the building. Like I said, it's always fun when you go, but I take it you enjoyed Raw more than I thought. I thought both triple threat matches were like okay at best.
Yeah.
Thought the Xavier Woods one was better than the other one. The one with Miz and Woods was better than the first.
Yeah, that
I thought so. But I thought both of those matches were like fine. I thought the match itself for Uncle Howdy, fine. I thought the entrance, the moment, the cool stuff that happened with the Wyatt Six and the stuff in that match was cool. But the match itself was kind of, all right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I talked about it on our first show.
Yeah.
But I really I look to WWE more for storylines,
Oh, for sure.
and I look to AEW more for the wrestling.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, I find that a sweet spot for me when watching WWE to not actually watch an entire match.
It's fair.
I kind of, I kind of prefer it that way, which is strange, but um, because I mean, like when you watch, and again, like I know we're supposed to be we're to talk about AEW on Thursday, but the biggest thing that I notice when I'm watching WWE and specifically Raw for some reason is just a stark contrast in production between WWE and
Oh,
AEW.
yeah. I mean, it's not even close.
Like, I don't know if on TV AEW has ever done a non-interview style backstage segment.
Mm. So you mean like, are you referring to like the Damian Priest Rhea, like those type of things where it's not an interview, but they just go back there and they're in a room chatting, saying some shit?
That right, yeah, that or like how the whole Woods and Kofi
Oh,
thing,
Kofi stuff. Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
they're doing like that stuff, like pretending the camera's not there. I
yeah.
don't think AEW has ever done something like that. So it's like, and like I do notice sometimes when watching WWE, they still it's not as severe as it used to be by any means, but they still do these like Zoom style things. That's like, do we need to do that?
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessary.
It's fair.
Um, so yeah, it's like I picked and noticed just like, hey, okay, these styles are just very
Yeah.
different, and not bad. I'm not saying that they're bad. I used to say WWE is bad, but it's much better. It's gotten much
Oh, yeah.
better now, especially this year. So yeah, but in regards to matches, for some reason, I prefer like a highlight reel of a WWE match versus watching the full match.
It's fair. I mean, I think, again, I'm just speaking about last night in particular, but I mean, I think like they're just, yeah, they just put on, it's just a different style of thing. WWE produces their matches and shoots their matches in a way that works for them as opposed to you know what I mean? Like AEW is just a more, I mean, I think the way you put it is good. Like WWE is more for the entertainment. They have great wrestling. We got Scott, we got Omar in the chat. Thank you, boys, for showing up this morning. Appreciate you both. Yeah, I can see that. I watched the whole, like, again, am I going to sit here and say that when I'm watching a 3-hour Raw that I have my eyes glued to the television for every second of every match? No, like that's just not the way humans work nowadays with technology and phones and things like that. But um, it all depends on what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like Bash at Berlin on Saturday, I'm watching, you know, Randy Orton and Gunther. I'm not taking my eyes off that match at all. Like that's going to be
Oh yeah,
from bell to
incredible.
bell. That's going to be incredible. KO and Cody, same thing. I think they're going to throw on a really, really, really good match on Saturday. You know, so there's certain things like that, but I just thought again, I went into the show last night. I was like, all right, cool, man. Like Raw's been on fire. And again, last night was still a pretty good. I'm like, maybe I was mid as hard, but it was like it was a good show. But Raw has been great lately.
Yes, I agree with that.
Raw has been great. And last night I thought was good. And for a go home show, I expected it to kind of I expected to leave that show last night and be like, and again, like as a wrestling nerd and as a wrestling fan, I am pumped for Saturday. I cannot wait for Saturday for Batch of Berlin. But I expected last night to leave that show and be like, oh man, like Gunther wasn't even there. He's already in, which I get. He's already in Germany, so they just had Orton out there, kind of. Like Orton's promo was like, it wasn't a bad promo, but what information? Like I already know all that shit about Randy Orton. He's been here for 20 years. I already know all that.
I just noticed while you were talking, you like froze for a second. I don't know if
on my end you froze for a second.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know who did it then.
Well, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. But Yeah, we do have Bash in Berlin. There are 6 matches currently on the card. I believe that'll probably actually wait, hold on, wait. 1, 2, 3. I only have 5. I thought there were 6. Well, there's 5 matches on the card, which to me, and I know we've talked about it here, that seems to be the new formula for them. When it's not an A show, when it's not a Mania, a SummerSlam, one of these A shows, they have the 5 match, kind of the old NXT TakeOver formula, where they have the 5 matches. Every match is going to get time. Every show is going to be between 2.5 or a little bit over 3 hours. And it's really just a good wheelhouse for them, I think. I think that kind of TakeOver formula has worked for these kind of secondary. Oh, yes, that's right. That's the 6th match. I thought that was going to be on SmackDown, though. I thought that was on SmackDown on Friday, not on this main show.
Is it in your rundown?
It's not on the card. I only have 5 matches on the card. For some reason, I thought 6, though. I felt like I heard the number 6 somewhere. LA Knight does have an open challenge, but I believe that is on Friday night in Berlin on SmackDown. I believe that's what's happening there. I believe that is happening on
SmackDown's in Berlin as well.
Unless they taped it, but I thought I saw an ad last night that they said SmackDown comes to Berlin on Friday.
It probably is.
Because they've been doing that when they go the international. They didn't do it in Australia, but with France, and Clash at the Castle and this one, they do the SmackDown the night before, right?
Yeah.
To get the crowd kind of riled up. Yeah. So I think that LA Knight thing is happening on SmackDown. I don't think it's on the main card. But either way, we have a 5-match card. We saw on SmackDown a 6-woman tag, which I thought was a lot of fun, actually, on SmackDown. It was between the big 3. It was Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi taking on the Unholy Union with, God, I always call her B. Priestley. Blair Davenport, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn. Really good 6-woman
Yeah, I enjoyed
tag,
that.
which saw Naomi get the win at the end of that match. She had a little run at the end and got the win. Well, on Saturday, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill will be going after to get back their WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. They are going against the Unholy Union, which is Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. This match was added last week, so this is the newest match that has been added to this card. I think, to me, Bianca Belair and Jade are getting their belts back, right? I mean, that's what's going to happen here, right? Unless I think they've done a really good job over the last couple weeks of maybe month or so of like giving Alba Fire and Isla Dawn some wins because they won the belts out of nowhere just because they were in Scotland. Like, that was clearly what it was.
Right.
I don't think they ever should have took the belts off of Bianca and Jade, but they did it. They got the pop. Fine. Then they really didn't do anything with them right away. But over the last month, they've put them in this group with Blair Davenport. They want, they've won a couple title defenses on television. They've at least made them look like, formidable, like a little bit better of formidable champions. Not really, but like a little bit better. But to me, this is almost the easiest match to. They're all pretty predictable, but to me, this is. I think it's Jade and Bianca all day, Drew.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I feel like you're right that they have been booked better since they won in this past month. Not right after they won the titles, but just in the past month or so, they've been on TV. Didn't they take out a team on TV?
Well, I know when Blair joined the group SummerSlam weekend, and they got DQ'd, and they won. Oh, look at that! Oh, you can get some cheap viewers in the chat. So if anybody wants some cheap viewers, you can go
click on that link again.
You can go talk to Demetra. She seems to know where it's at. Well, they had Davenport join the group. They lost technically, but they beat the crap out of Jade and Bianca that night. Then they defended their titles last week on Raw and won. I forget who it was against. But I don't remember if they've taken out a group, did they? Maybe.
It wasn't Damage Control.
No, because they're on Raw. I mean, they can float. They've been on
Well, they
both,
could
but
float too. I swear,
yeah,
last week or the week before, they took out either like Damage Control or Jade, Bianca, and Naomi.
maybe. I know they obviously they had the match on Friday, but they've been kind of feuding with the so. But I just I find it very hard to
Oh
think
no, I'm
unless
sorry. That
he's
was
doing that.
Pure Fusion
Yeah,
Collective that took out Damage Control.
let me tell you.
Yeah,
Let me tell you. I like
what
the
a
group.
name.
I like those three. I like those three. I like the group. That is a god awful name. And that's one of those situations where I think the name might kill the group. I think the name might kill the group. I'm being honest. I think the name might kill the group
It
because
might. Yeah.
it is bad. It is bad. Um, but yeah, I don't see a scenario, Drew, where I mean that's a lie. Unless there's some sort of chicanery or there's more cheating or
Which is
whatever.
very possible.
Yeah, I don't see the unholy union getting through this one with the belt still. I don't think so. I don't think so. Unless, like I said, unless this is where they do a turn of somebody, or this is where they really start the process of a turn by them losing somehow.
I could
Or
see that, but I don't
yeah,
think the turn because they just brought them back. They just
yeah, they
brought that
just brought the
trio
big
back.
three exactly.
So
So I don't see that happening. But unless, like, something does happen and they lose, and then that kind of starts the, I don't know. But I think they're getting these belts back. I think they're getting these belts back.
yeah.
We saw him before we continue on. We saw on SmackDown last week. There were 2 title matches on SmackDown last week. LA Knight went up against Santos Escobar for the United States Championship. Very good match. Very good match. I hope this continues. Obviously, as Scott said in the chat, LA Knight does have an open challenge this weekend on SmackDown in Berlin. So I don't know who will accept that challenge, but I kind of would like LA Knight and Santos Escobar to continue. I think that's a good little pairing and a good little group that I would like to see move on than just the one match we saw on SmackDown. But the match was really good, so LA Knight defended, and then we had the tag team championships at the end of the night, which was what we saw because the Bloodline is not on this show this weekend. The Bloodline has it off.
They are not. Yeah.
They are not there. Okay.
A little weird, but
It is. I think it's the first time they haven't been on a PLE in some form in like a long time. But they got the weekend off. They got the weekend off. They're not even on SmackDown. Like they're just not. I don't think they're there at all. Like,
they'll probably be on SmackDown. I would.
you think they travel them over there just for the SmackDown show? Maybe. I don't know. It seems to me that they're. But either way.
Oh right, because they're also doing SmackDown in Berlin. So.
Yeah. But
no, maybe not.
We saw before the match, Solo basically told Jacob Fatu, "You're not a tag team champion anymore. You're not a tag team champion." Oh, that would make sense, Scott, if it was Ilya. If it was Ilya that answered, but he's not on SmackDown, so I would rather
also
not.
That,
I would rather them not do that, and I don't think he should lose. I think he's going to win the triple threat match next week to get into the IC thing. His one, we'll see. But
so let me tell you what this reminded me of.
Yeah,
because I was like, okay, so he rightfully won the tag championship.
who?
It was him. It was him and
It was
and
Jacob
Tama.
Fatu and Tama Tonga that won the tag team championships.
This, for some reason, it reminded me of when Solo first came up, and he was North American champion,
and they made him get rid of it.
And they took it away from him. And I was like, oh, is this like some sort of like thing in Solo's mind of like, hey, if you're my heavy or if you're the heavy of the group, you can't have a title?
Maybe that could be a callback they could do. I remember that, but I didn't even think about that. But yeah, before the match, he basically tells Jacob Fatu, "Give me your belt." He goes, "No, actually, give it a Tongaloa," which is funny on its own.
Yeah.
So he gives it to Tongaloa. So now the WWE Tag Team Champions are officially the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. Jacob Fatu is not one of the tag team champions. He is officially the, what do you call it? The muscle, or the there's a word they're using, but I'm not going to remember it because at the end of the day, who gives a shit? But he's the muscle, Solo's right hand protector, muscle, whatever the word is that I'm forgetting. Heavy, yeah, that's another way to put it. And they had a match with the Street Profits for the tag team championships. Another really, really good match. But obviously the Bloodline retained. So I just wanted to talk about those because I feel like on SmackDown, those two title matches and the six woman match, I'm sorry, 6 team, that was really the stuff that stood out. Besides the stuff that we're going to be talking about with the combatants on Bash at Berlin. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So we did talk about it. I know we talked about it at the top, but last night on Raw, Bronson Reed, legend. So I'm just, in 1 month, Drew, they have made this guy must see television.
I even like his entrance now.
Yeah, everything about him. And like literally 3 weeks to a month, this guy has turned into.
Oh no! I said I like his entrance. That means Def Rebel.
Yeah, I was going to say that means the music will be different.
Oh no! I'm sorry, everybody. Blame me.
But it is incredible what they've done with Bronson Reed here, and he's not on this show this weekend either. But another
surprise.
That thing. Well, they announced so last night. We might as well get all this stuff out of the way, and then like the last hour, we can really. There's only 4 more matches we got to talk about. It's not a lot of matches. Last night on Raw, they started the tournament. They're calling it a tournament. It doesn't feel like a tournament to me. There's no brackets. It's just, hey, win a triple threat, and then you're in a 4-way. Okay, it's not a fucking tournament. But anyway, they started the tournament for the intercom. Oh, here comes Lou. Yep, see his tail walking there. You see his tail? Hey, man. He's back there. You see him. But anyway, they started the tournament and they had 2 3-way matches. The first one was Kofi Kingston, Karrion Kross. Who was the third guy? It's Karrion Kross, Kofi Kingston. It was Miz, Xavier Woods, and I'm going to remember 2 out of 3 guys. Miz, Xavier Woods, and Pete Dunne were in the third one because Pete Dunne won. Pete Dunne won. And then it was, who won? Yeah, because it was, who won the first one? Because it wasn't Kofi or Karrion Kross. It was the other guy. Jey Uso,
yes, that's right.
How the hell did I forget that? He's the most over entrance in the history of time last night in that building. My God, Drew. Like, his entrance.
I'll tell you, Rikishi ain't too happy about it.
No, well, I mean, listen, I think Rikishi, it's his father. He's going to feel a certain way about it. I think Rikishi that's valid to me. Because Jey Uso is super over. The crowd loves him, sells a ton of merch. The entrance is probably the funnest thing of the night every time you go. There goes Lou. See you later. Peace out. Opened and closed that door by himself. But like,
legend. That's
who he is, right? But every big match that he's in, he loses. So at some point,
I'll say right now, I don't know if he's even gonna win this one.
Well, he won last night. He won the triple threat. Him and Pete Dunne won. So next week, there's 2 more triple threats.
Bronson Reed is going to win his.
Bronson Reed is in 1. It's Sheamus, Bronson Reed.
And
how do I only know 2? And Ludwig, yes. And then the second one is Ilya Dragunov, Dragon Lee, and Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic is going to win that one.
You think so? I think it's Ilya. No question. Because of the Ilya and Braun. Braun wrote him off TV. Speared him. You haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand why you're saying dumb, but I think the LWO.
Judgment Day is either going to help him or Mommy is going to.
Well, yeah. I think with Dragon Lee being in there and what we saw last night, I think the LWO, Judgment Day / whatever, I think that's going to get involved and cause Dom because I expect Bronson Reed and Ilya to win those 2 matches next week.
Scott, you know what? Scott makes me think maybe Sheamus wins.
I would be okay with that, but I after what you've done this last month, I do not see unless Braun Strowman comes out and takes care of Bronson Reed.
I don't mean wins the title. I mean wins the trio.
Yeah, but that's against
Maybe.
Bronson. He's on the one with Bronson.
But the Pete Dunne and Sheamus thing is hot right now.
You could,
So,
but then Bronson Reed loses.
Braun Strowman might play a factor.
Maybe Strowman comes out after last night. Maybe Strowman comes out and gets his revenge on Bronson Reed, which causes Sheamus because Sheamus and Kaiser have also had a history.
Right.
So if Sheamus kicks and beats Kaiser.
Listen, even though this is not an actual tournament, I am a fan of the pairings. Because they're really, like, they work and they make sense. They're all, like, kind of been fighting each other in some way.
100%.
Yeah, so
I think he'll get there. I think he'll get there, Scott. Might not be this time. I mean, listen, whoever wins, they're not beating Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker ain't getting rid of that belt anytime soon. So this is really just to see who's going to, and Braun Breaker even cut a promo last night in the back where he was like, hey, congratulations to those two tonight. I'm just sitting and waiting because it doesn't matter who it is because I'm ruining them.
He is so good. He's really, I'm such a fan now. It's insane.
Yeah. And like, that was the promo. The whole thing was like, yeah, I'm just sitting back here chilling.
They showed him
waiting
in the beginning of the show, entering the building with a dog.
Yeah.
Remember? Did you see that on the screen?
They showed it on the screen. Yeah. Well, he is. I mean, the dogs do bark.
Right. Only for him to be in like a 40-second promo in the back, and that was it for the.
It's a good payday, I think.
That's some legendary shit right there.
It's a good payday, right? Sheamus versus Braun would be very good. Listen, I think, and I'm not joking, I think everybody that they've announced in these triple threat matches, and I think all of them would be great opponents for Braun. All of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sheamus and Braun would be fun. Jey Uso and Braun would be fun. If you're going Bronson Reed and Braun, you're going.
Well, in that case, I would say maybe I don't
you gotta
know
hold
who
that
the
up.
loser is in that.
Yeah,
case,
you gotta hold that. But if you do Ilya and Braun, would be fun. We've seen that before, but like they always have killer matches. I think
it's not. I'm gonna say probably. Now when all four are done, when all the four matches are done, and then the winners are in a fatal four-way.
That's what the winners are in a fatal four-way, and then the winner of that will be the number one contender for Braun.
Okay. So I could see then possibly Sheamus does win. Oh my goodness. That was a forceful opening.
Damn. Who wasn't messing around that time? Hey, bud.
Sheamus probably wins to continue with Pete Dunne in the four-way. And then who is this?
Miz already lost. He was in the one last
night. Oh, no. Okay, so what are the other pairings?
It's Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. And then it's Ilya Dragunov, Dominic Mysterio, and Dragon Lee.
I'm trying to think of okay, it would make sense if it was Sheamus and Pete Dunne.
Yep.
Now, who would make sense for Jey Uso in that other three-way?
Dom. Well, I mean, either way, but Dom because of the Rhea stuff, but they kind of went away from
that. That's right.
They've gone away from that, though. They've gone away from that. I mean, I think Jey Uso can kind of match with anybody, to be honest with you. I think he's clearly.
So in that trio, you've got Dom as a heel, and you've got
Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee's a good guy, and Ilya's a good guy.
Okay.
And then in the other one, though, you have Sheamus, who's a good guy, and then you have Bronson and Ludwig, who are both heels.
Okay. I would think that the best way of doing it would be two faces, two heels. But
so you have So last night there was one heel and one face. So that tells me that I think it's going to be Bronson Reed and Ilya. I think Bronson Reed and Ilya win next week. I could see Braun Strowman not on television next week to sell what the hell happened last night. And then in the fatal four-way 2 weeks from now, that's when Braun shows up and goes, hey, Bronson, nope. And he's removed, or they battle. And then it's Ilya, Uso, and Pete Dunne. And then you get to what you get to.
I just have this feeling in my gut that Dominic is going to win.
Again, I would not complain if Dominic won. I got no problem with Dominic winning that match at all. I really don't. I'm very pro Dominic. I just think the story the last time we saw Ilya Dragunov on television, he was getting stretchered out because of a spear by Braun Breaker.
Right.
So that tells me that I expect him to win that match next week to kind of, I don't know if he's going to win the whole thing and it will be Braun. I don't know if he's going to win the whole thing, but I think he's going to win next week.
There's a lot of possibilities, and that's exciting.
Yes. It can go either way, and that's a lot of fun. And then we still have a fatal four-way to talk about. Like, we're not even at the final match to this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that type of stuff is cool. And I was just kind of ragging on it that it's not a real tournament. It is not. This is not a tournament. It is determining. It is something that is determining the number one contender. But I would not consider this. Yes. That was, yeah. And then that led to the end of Ricochet with Braun Breaker as well. That's a whole thing was there.
Right.
We'll talk about
whatever
Ricochet.
happened to him.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about Ricochet in a few days. I think on Thursday, maybe. I'm just warning you guys now. There's going to be some heat from me on Thursday about one thing in particular that happened during All In. Some major heat.
I have a feeling I kind of know what it is.
Major. Very disappointed in a certain individual that wrestled on Sunday. Anyway. Okay. Anything else that happened that was like non-pay-per-view? Because I want to tie in. Oh, also on this Friday, Mi Chin is going again. That's for some reason, this is not on the pay-per-view either. This is on SmackDown on Friday. Mi Chin is fighting Nia Jax for the title, for the women's title. Obviously,
she's not going to win.
No, but obviously Nia Jax is going to win and retain. However, I'm glad Mi Chin's getting this spot. He died. R.I.P. Ocean. I'm glad Mi Chin's getting this spot because she's really good.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they're rising her up. She's done really good work in NXT this year, guys. Like really good work. And she's just really good. And I thought her social media posts, when she kind of got put in this match, she had a nice social media post basically saying that like she didn't look like the prototypical female wrestler coming up, and a lot of people gave her shit and told her no. And now, she's not going to win, but now she's in WWE fighting for a women's title. Like, that's pretty cool shit. And it is a street fight. That is correct. It is a street fight, which means there will be chicanery and shenanigans all abound.
Yeah. Shenanigans.
But it should be good. But obviously, Nia will retain there. How long do you think we go before Tiffany teases? You're just going to laugh continuously because Lou literally can just
Lou's just in and out
as he please. Every time he's walking around the house, I just go, he's making the rounds. He has the same path every time. He just walks around.
Supervisor of the house.
Yep. Just making sure the perimeter is good. Well, I was just going to ask, how long do you think we wait?
I think it's going to be. No, I don't think it's going to be tonight.
At least tease it.
So Nia's won this title, and all of a sudden she's a bitch. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Because I think they're going to try to make Tiffany a babyface. I think that's what they're going to. I think they're going. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to.
And at first, I was like, "Is that a good idea?" But
I think it can work. Because Tiffy time is over. Toodles is over. Yeah. She's got the Barbie doll look. Like, if they do it right, I think she could be a major babyface star.
And right now, I entrust in Triple H and the team to do a proper good babyface Tiffany Stratton.
I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, shit.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah. Make her babyface.
It's true. All right. I think I'm just run through, make sure.
But that's so interesting because I don't know if there's, and I mean, this is this is an on the spot type of thing, so I don't know if you would even know the answer to this question. But is there a person who won Money in the Bank as either category, babyface, heel, and then when they cashed in, they were the opposite role?
I thought they were going to do it with Damian Priest. I thought when Damian Priest won that briefcase, in my brain, I was like, by the time he cashes in, he's going to be a major babyface. It happened a little bit after. But I thought they were going to do it with him. I mean, I'd have to go all the way back. Like Edge was a bad guy. CM Punk, the early CM Punks were both. He was a good guy for both of those, right? Ziggler was a bad guy when he won it and cashed in, but I think the moment was just so huge that the pop was.
It kind of made him a babyface after that.
It kind of, yeah.
So, but he wasn't a babyface when he cashed it in.
No, same with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was the bad guy, bald head, like wiffle haircut. And when he cashed in, he beat the Big Show. And then he that's like right when he was starting the Yes stuff. And like, that's when he right after he kind of lost the belt there. That was that whole era where he started to.
The closest one, honestly, might be Randy Orton's cash-in on Daniel Bryan.
Well, because was Randy
he was a babyface?
Was that
he was a babyface when he won the briefcase, and
then he turned and joined the Authority.
Right. So, like, the whole match was
babyface.
Daniel Bryan losing.
No, because that match was.
That was when he faced John Cena,
right? And it was babyface versus babyface, and
SummerSlam.
Yes. So Orton was a babyface when he won that. The Money in the Bank.
No. Oh no! When he won the Money in the Bank.
When he won Money in the Bank, he was a babyface, but then he came out at Triple H. Yeah, he came out, and they were teasing it, and then Triple H pedigreed Bryan, and right.
Yeah. So that
I don't remember Orton being a good guy at that point, though. I thought he was already a bad guy. And then it was like, oh, you bitch, you're siding with Triple H kind of thing. You might be right, though. I can't remember shit.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. That's a good question. I don't know if somebody in the chat, or we'll look it up after the show, but that's a good question. If anybody was a different when they won compared to when they cashed in, if it was a different. I'm trying to think of who won. Because Alexa Bliss was a heel. Carmella was a heel.
Most of the women, I think, were heels that won Money in the Bank. I want to say.
I feel like most people that win Money in the Bank are heels.
Well, Big E won Money in the Bank.
Big E won. Moxley won. Or Dean Ambrose, however you want to call it. He won. Seth won. Seth was a bad guy, and he cashed in as a bad guy.
Right.
Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was Brock Lesnar and cashed in.
An anomaly.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, because then you got guys like Sandow lost the briefcase, Cena lost the briefcase, Corbin lost the briefcase, Austin Theory lost the briefcase. So I'm trying to think of like the other people. That's a good question.
Also, was Money in the Bank winner, but was it Sheamus?
Yeah.
But he was a heel when he won and when he cashed in.
Mm-hmm. Jack Swagger, he was a bad guy, right? Early on, was he a bad guy the whole time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a cool thing of trivia, though. I'm gonna go look at after we get out of here. I'm gonna go see, because that's actually a cool question. Because I think there's a way here that if Nia keeps on continuing this role of just being a mean girl to Tiffany and like just treating her like shit, at some point, and it might already be starting, like the crowd is gonna be super sympathetic towards Tiffany. Like, get out of there, girl. Like, you're in this abusive friendship, like, get out of there. And I think if it gets to the point where that moment of her cashing in on Nia, if they build and build and build this, like, that'll be a huge moment. Like, the crowd will be like, oh, come on, do it. Yeah. I almost get like, kind of how like the crowd was reacting to Otis when it came to Chad Gable. Like when it looked like Chad Gable was going to hit him. Right. I mean, when it looked like Otis was going to hit him, and he got so close, and the crowd would be like, fucking hit him. Like, come on, I think you could get to that level with these two, with Nia just completely treating Tiffany like dog shit. And then Tiffany over time in certain situations where there is an opportunity to cash in, when the crowd being like,
good morning, Johnny.
How you doing, Johnny? And the crowd being like, do it. treat you like crap. Do it. You know, I think there's a cool opportunity for
maybe, you know what? Maybe I'd like Pretty Deadly as baby faces. I'm gonna throw.
I mean,
they
should be baby faces.
If they have them together, Tiffy and Pretty Deadly. If they continue that and then they all end up turning babyface together, you might get the thing that I said you shouldn't hold your breath for. You might get it.
Okay, I'm just gonna chill here and mind my business, because at some point you will come on this show and you will say, "Hey, I just want to let you know about Pretty Deadly. You were correct." And I go, "I know. I'm waiting for it. It'll happen. Give it time." I'm not that patient of a fella, but I can be patient. But it will happen, I promise. All right, let's get back to we only have 4 more matches to talk about here, so we'll kind of talk about what happened with these people on the show. So we have man almighty. Okay. We have a strap match. You want to talk about another promo last night that wasn't good? Jeez,
I actually didn't hate this.
I didn't look at. I'm being hard on it, but like I thought the 3 main promo segments between the Judgment Day at the beginning of the show, Randy Orton, and this Drew McIntyre thing, man, like they weren't bad promos. All those people are good professional wrestlers. They're not bad promos, but man almighty, it was like, what are we, just a waste of time. Just so, yeah, you're not telling me anything new that I don't already know. Like that,
I feel like that's most go home WWE promos, though.
It's brutal, man. Because the lead up for the last month has been unreal. And then they get to the go home show where it's supposed to be unreal. And they're like, we've already done everything we've done. So let's just kind of get to the pay-per-view. And it's like, okay, well, I thought the coolest thing that happened on this, though, obviously I was in the building last night for Raw, so I didn't see it, but CM Punk did an Instagram live from under the ring.
I saw this, yeah.
So Drew was cutting his promo, and CM Punk apparently went on Instagram live from under the ring. And then obviously he showed up. His music hit. Drew's looking at the entrance. Punk comes from under the ring. He has a strap, and he whips Drew with the strap and runs Drew off. Drew ends up going through the crowd. And then CM Punk kind of celebrates in the ring and stuff like that. This feud a month ago was the biggest feud in WWE. At SummerSlam, you can make an argument this was the most anticipated match by many, if not all. It was the hottest thing going. I like both these guys. I think this strap match will be good on Saturday. But this feud has lost some major steam. Wow.
Because it's all about the bracelet.
It just doesn't make sense.
Which Punk said in a promo, oh, it's not about the bracelet. But ever since he said that, it's been about the bracelet.
Yeah. Drew even mentioned it last night. This $5 cheap plastic, whatever. Dude.
And what does Punk try to do last night? He tries to take the bracelet off his damn arm.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I get it. Sentimental value. I get it. I got a family. I get it. We all do. Sentimental shit. Listen, understand.
I'm going to sound like an asshole right now.
It's boring. Like, who cares about a fucking bracelet?
It's not something that anybody in Punk's life who matters to him made.
That's true.
It's just a fan-made bracelet.
Yep. It's very bizarre.
It's very bizarre. Cares?
Like this whole feud started with just like one guy trying to ruin the other guy's life. Like, I'm gonna mess up all your shit. You hurt me. I'm glad I prayed for you to get hurt. Okay. You did? All right, great. Well, guess what? You're going for the title. I'm fucking your shit up. Oh, you're doing this? Well, guess what? I'm messing it up. Like, that was this whole feud, which made it so hot. Boss man, Spencer. Hello. So that's what made it so hot, to the point where CM Punk was barely there for 5 months. And they still made it the hottest friggin' feud in the company. And then for the last 2 months, it's been about a bracelet that I could care less about. I could care less about it.
And let me tell you this too. I'm watching this promo last night, and a key thing stuck out in my mind. It's like, so Drew gets down on the, doing the CM Punk Indian style, on the mat, and he's like, all this guy's
His
done
skinny
is
jeans
attack
were
me
too
from
tight,
behind.
though. He couldn't stay down there too long because the skinny
that
jeans were
was
too
funny.
tight. Yeah,
Like he had his knees up
and
way
he's a
higher.
tall man. Like he couldn't get the full cross-legged position. I almost said the old way that you can't say anymore. But he couldn't get the cross-legged like all the way because his legs are too tall. I don't want to say it on air. Yeah, you can't say it. When I was raised, it was called. I'll say it off to you. Not PC anymore to use.
Was it what I just said? Was that the old way?
What'd you say?
Is Indian style?
Yes, yeah. You're not. You shouldn't say it that way.
I did not even know that.
Yeah, it's not.
Honestly,
yeah. I mean, it's the I think they call it like something. It's like a very kiddish name now, like something leg crossy legged, or you just can't say it because it's okay. The way of the world. But
so he's sitting there, cross-legged, sitting down in the ring, however we're gonna describe it now, and he says, all Punk does is attack me from behind.
Well, guess what?
And I'm like, well, I mean, he does have a point there, but all right, now here comes Punk. Here's Punk's music. All right, he's coming out to brawl. No, he attacks him from fucking behind again.
Yep.
All he's done is attack him from behind.
Yeah.
All he's done is attack him from behind. All he's done is ruin title matches and screw over Drew McIntyre. And what has Drew done besides pray for him to get injured and attack him in Chicago?
Yep.
What else has this guy done? And take the bracelet. What else has this guy done?
I mean, he hurt him at the Royal Rumble. That's the whole thing that this was based
on. He heard him at the Rumble and said
that
he prayed for it and it happened.
Yeah.
He took the bracelet and attacked him in Chicago. That's it.
I mean, he's trolled him a whole ton on social media. So he's done more messing with CM Punk on social media than in the shows. But
Yeah, and by the way, Drew doing it on social media a hell of a lot better than whatever the hell Punk does in the arenas, because Punk shit barely gets reactions, as we saw last Raw with that god awful promo. But Drew knows where to go to get the reaction. It's on social media. It's not in the arenas in front of the crowd.
Agreed.
So like I see this and I'm like, hey, you know what? Punk's the fucking heel. He's the heel in this feud to me, because he is always attacking a guy, preventing him from getting a title 3 fucking times. That's not good enough for you. It's because he's holding a bracelet that means nothing. That's the drive for this feud.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's turned into it. And it's like, dude, because I don't think Saturday's the end either. I think Punk gets his win back on Saturday in the strap match. I think Punk gets his win back. And then I think we're probably heading for Hell in a Cell or probably that.
And I know that he's going to get the bracelet back probably at Bash and Berlin. He's going to win the match, and then he's going to take the bracelet.
Yeah.
And then Drew is going to try and take the bracelet back from him.
We'll see.
And it's going to continue to be about the bracelet, and I hate that, because it shouldn't be about the damn. I agree. I can't even speak. It's annoying that this is, like Johnny said, this could have been WWE's. It was WWE's Swerve Hangman before the involvement of this stupid 50-cent bullshit bracelet.
Yep. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Who do you got winning on Saturday? Who do you got winning? You got Punk getting his win back, like me?
Yeah.
Is that what you're leaning?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this is over. Again, these two guys are good, that if WWE gave them some better stuff, clearly this was working.
I want to know whose idea this was to introduce the bracelet into the feud.
I don't know, because it was so
hot. And I
want
to say you're a moron.
It was so hot of a feud. And then it's just kind of devolved into this. Yeah, it's just lost a lot of steam. So I don't know. I think the strap match will be violent. I think, the crowd is going to be great this weekend. So it's going to make it feel a lot, you expect these international crowds to really show up and be, and I think, again, I think the match on Saturday is going to be killer. I think it's going to be a really good match.
It's
But
it's a 4-corner strap match.
Yeah.
It should be good.
Yeah.
If it's not revolving specifically around the bracelet the entire time.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully it's not.
No, I agree. One thing I wanted to say this at the beginning of the show. I wanted to maybe we should save it for the I wanted to talk about Psycho Sid. Obviously he passed away yesterday. I'm gonna mess up his last name. Is it Edie or Udi? That is his real name. He was 63 years old. His son confirmed that he was battling with cancer. Cancer is very close to me. Both my parents had it. But just in general, send the condolences to the family and just the wrestling world. Sid, for somebody like me, who I'm 39 years old, I started watching wrestling in the early 90s, 91, 92, 93, around that era. Sid was as imposing of a big man as there was at that time. Like 6'9", 6'10", muscled, eyes wide. Like, this is even before he became Psycho Sid, which I thought in the mid-90s, Psycho Sid, that theme song, all-timer. And just, who's the man? And he'd be yelling, and he was just fist bump. He was doing fist bumps with the crowd in the mid-90s before fist bumps were cool. This guy ruled. And obviously there's the funny stuff you see. You see a lot of the videos of like him cutting promos and he doesn't know they're live. And he's like, oh, can we do that again? And JR's like, oh, we're live, pal. And he's just like, oh, and he, there's like stuff like that and things like
the
that.
Goldberg car crushing.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. But main evented WrestleMania 8 against Hulk Hogan. Huge deal at that point. That's when the Ultimate Warrior came back. But like he main evented WrestleMania against Hulk Hogan, which is a big deal. Back then, that was a big deal. Was part of the Four Horsemen in WCW. Then he came over in the mid-90s and he had WrestleMania 13 also main evented as the world champion against The Undertaker. I know WrestleMania 13 is remembered for the match that happened a little bit before that with Bret and Stone Cold. That's kind of the match that sticks out for 13. But that main event was Psycho Sid coming in as the champion and defending it and losing it to The Undertaker. But main evented 2 WrestleManias. He had some really good programs with Shawn Michaels, both when Shawn was a good guy and he was the bad guy, and when Shawn was a bad guy and he was the good guy. His power bomb finisher, all-time great power bomb. All-time great power bomb. This guy was in the 90s, man. He was like early to mid 90s. And then he went to WCW in the late 90s and he was kind of, he was near the top of the card, but he was just kind of, he was older at that point. One of the more gruesome in-ring injuries you will ever see. He sustained in a pay-per-view where it was gnarly. It was gnarly. But yeah, I wanted to do it right at the top, but I drew a blank there. But yeah, dude. For someone, again, I know you're younger than me, so this is probably going to be our age showing. I was talking to Josh Robinson about it, and he's 10 years younger than me, and he was like, yeah, that was before my time. And I'm like,
he's even younger than me.
Yeah. So. And I was like, man, I was like, that was a real bummer. That was bummer news yesterday. And I thought WWE did good. They gave, before the show went on the air, they gave him the picture, and then they did that that video last night honoring him. But that was that was a tough one. That's a bummer, dude. All these guys, now that I'm getting older, a lot of guys that I watched when I was first getting into wrestling, and even in the yeah, it's just a bummer when you see stuff like that. 63 is too young. It's too young.
I only really started watching wrestling in the 2010s.
It's fair. Yeah, so he was way gone by that point.
A while back.
Yeah.
On Firmly WWE. That my reintroduction into wrestling was in 2012 after WrestleMania, and I had been kind of watching as a kid, but not really because I was a fan of it. It was more because of my best friend's brother and cousin always watching it and it being on.
Mm.
Um, I did have a little Mankind doll though
Hell
when
yeah.
I was a kid.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I was not like it didn't draw me in as
Yeah.
much to make me watch it since the late 90s.
Yeah.
Um, so my introduction to Sid really was when he came back and did the match with Heath Slater because of
Oh
all the
yeah.
legends that were coming
Yeah.
back, and he was one of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, it was fine,
Oh yeah.
but
He was
I
old man at that. The best one of that one was Vader. Vader was
oh,
the
yeah.
best one. Like that when Vader came out to fight him, I was like, this is the dopest thing I've ever seen. And
So,
but
yeah, so that was like the only real match I had
yeah.
seen. I've seen, I've probably seen a couple matches here.
I'm telling you, if you guys have never heard the Psycho Sid entrance music, go out of your way, man. It is like it's typical 90s, it's Jim Johnson, so no words, just all music based, but like it fit the character perfectly. Like very ominous guitar sounds and background
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
And then
like a
there's a
guitar
pulsating,
and then
then there's the pulsating
drum.
like dan, 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 and it like fit the character because he was Psycho Sid and he had the bright eyes and he was coming out and he was sweating and he was like this guy. And it was just like it fit the character so well.
Oh.
And that was a dude that my dad liked. When my dad would pay attention to wrestling in the
Oh,
mid 90s, he was like, oh, I like this guy. I like this Psycho Sid guy. Yeah. So I wanted to at least mention him because that guy, yeah, man, that guy was good. That guy was good. All right, we'll move on. We have 3 more matches to discuss here. So we have a mixed tag team match. We saw Judgment Day open the show last night, Drew. They cut a promo. I mean, yeah, they cut a promo. Finn basically said that the whole time Damian and Rio were really the heels of the group, and now they got rid of them. So Judgment Day stronger than it ever has been. And then Liv got the mic and said, you're trying to get us, but we've taken everything from you. And on Saturday,
there was
you're going to
one part
realize
of it
that
though that
Liv
was
and
really
Dom
good.
always stay on top. That's what she said.
What was?
I think that was one of the lines.
Yeah, because the I mean Dominic is just the
Oh,
booze that he gets is
hate magnet.
insane.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really come into his own in this whole thing. Like I'm really, really happy for him that
Yeah.
they're making it work. And
So Dom mentioned that he's entering the tournament. He's going to win the whole thing, and he's going to show everyone why he's El Jefe. He said, "Why he's El Jefe." And then Rey Mysterio and the LWO came out last night, Drew, and they confronted him. Rey said Dom was a lost soul, and at least when he was with Rhea, one of them had a set. That's what Rey said, and it wasn't Dom.
yes, he called him a jackass.
He called him a jackass. He said someone needs to put him in his place. Yeah. And then Liv told Rey to whatever. She told Dom to hit Rey. And then it turned into an 8-man tag, and that happened on Raw. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is,
I did not recognize Cruz del Toro.
yeah, he had a different look. I know he was out with some surgery, but he came back clean shaven.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like the beard on him more, but it was
yeah, I'm pro beard. Obviously.
Of course. Some people though, it's weird because some people look better without a beard.
That's true. That's a true statement. Yeah. So that happened leading into Saturday. We then saw later on there was a backstage segment with Priest, and that is true. Dom never beat Rey with Rhea. That is true. There was a backstage little thing with Priest and Rhea in the back later on in the evening, and Rhea talked some Spanish in that promo. So she was kind of, I thought that was kind of cool. But it was basically them saying that they are the bad guys. They said, you want to call us bad guys? Fine, we'll be the bad guys. And on Saturday, we're going to show you that we're going to beat the crap out of you. We're going to beat the crap out of you.
Now, before we talk, we got one more match, right, to talk about?
No, we have 3. We have to talk about this one, and then we have the 2 title matches.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we're talking about this one. After this, we have 2. We have the 2 world title matches.
After this one, I wanted to mention something that I've mentioned before.
So that's what happened. That's what happened last night to kind of round us into, at the end of the 8-man tag, we should say, Judgment Day wins by cheating, obviously. They win, and they start beating down the LWO, and Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest came out. I'll send it to you, but I got a really good camera angle of Liv running away and Rhea grabbing her. Like it was like right in front of me directly, and Rhea just grabbed her.
You were like almost ringside, right?
We were hard cam. We were in the section with the hard cam. So we were not ringside, like not on the floor, but we were right there. Like the hard cam was like a row and a half behind.
It was right off the floor.
Yeah.
Like that section.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So that happened. They come out, they start beating people up. Finn, Dom, and Liv obviously get away. And Carlito and JD McDonough get the shit kicked out of them. They get the South of Heaven and the Riptide. And the Terra Twins kind of stand tall. And then we see their little promo later on. So mixed tag match. Priest and Rhea, Dom and Liv. Drew, of the 5 matches on this card, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. And I honestly don't know who wins. I'm leaning towards Rhea and Priest. I'm leaning towards it, but I honestly don't. This is the hardest one to pick for me. This is the only one where I don't think it's telegraphed who wins. Like, I feel like the other ones are kind of easy to pick. I feel like this one could literally go either way for the story. I'm gonna pick Priest and Rhea officially.
I go the opposite way.
Okay, that's fine. I honestly, this is the only one I'm like, I could go either way. Absolutely either way. Do you have them get a win back now? Or do you have some shit happen and Dom and Liv get the 1-up again on these 2?
Well, it's not Dom and Liv, right? Isn't it Finn and Liv?
No, it's Dom. It's Dom and Liv versus Rhea and Priest.
Oh, why did
they're saving Finn, and we're not getting Finn and Priest they're saving that. They're saving that.
I don't know why I thought it was Finn and Liv. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be. They're gonna, because it's not gonna be done from here. So I feel like the heels win here, and then the babyface would win at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
PLE. So.
My only thing is like Dom and Liv. Judgment Day got their 1-ups at SummerSlam. Dom and Liv got the 1-up on Rhea. Finn got the 1-up on Priest. So this feud is going on. This is not.
That means that the heels then would win the blow-off.
I don't think this is the blow-off, though, because the blow-off is going to be Rhea winning the belt from Liv, and it's going to be when they get to Priest and Finn. But
that's true.
I feel like, again, I honestly think this can go either way, but I feel like the heels started this whole thing and got the 1-up at SummerSlam. So now is it the Terra Twins get their revenge back a little bit, but then they still, I don't know. That's why I'm so torn about it, because it makes sense for Dom and Liv to win again and just continually get 1-up these 2, and they're like, what the,
I feel like they may. I feel like Dom and Liv may win because it's just going to lead to so much booing and heat on them, especially if it's a cheating win. Because it's probably going to be a cheating win.
Yeah.
I am expecting some sort of Dom and Rhea interaction.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants Rhea to beat the shit out of Dom, right? Like that's the thing everybody's waiting
honestly,
for in this match.
honestly, they really should have a match.
That would be great. If they ever did it, this would be the one. This would be the one where they're like, you know
feel
what,
like
Dom
this
and
would-
Rhea, one-on-one.
I mean, when's the last time that you really felt like there needed to be an intergender match?
In WWE?
Yeah.
Probably back in the China days. Because she was IC champ and regularly fighting the men for a little bit. Like her feud with Jericho and before they were together. You know, like I feel like that's probably really, man.
That was
I don't know
I know
if
because
they'll ever-
she entered. So they had she was in the Royal Rumble. So that was China.
Yes.
Then Nia Jax was in a men's Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Karma, I believe, also showed up in a men's Royal Rumble when she had her small stint. I believe Karma showed up as well.
Also, a very, very forgotten match for good reason. James Ellsworth and the women's division of SmackDown Live in 2016.
Yeah.
When
that fucking guy.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like they could at the next PLE, they could do a Dom versus Rhea match.
Oh yeah, it would be a hugely anticipated match. But again, I don't know if they'll ever go that route. But they easily could. But all right, so we're a little bit different on that one. We're picking different sides, so that's good. A little bit of difference here. And that now, Drew, it's time for the 2 world
so the
title
thing I
matches.
wanted to mention.
Oh yeah. Talk about
before,
yes.
So we mentioned Kofi and Xavier in their respective matches.
We can talk about this because there's some shit. They're still.
So
Woods wearing black.
So Xavier decides, hey, I want to get my own gear. Or like it's the same gear, but it's in his own colors. It's what he wants it to be. Odyssey Jones not on the show last night.
Nope.
And I tweeted this last night too, but I was like, I don't know if it's just because I really feel like this is what's happening, but doesn't it sound like Kofi's being more condescending to Xavier lately? Like the way that he's talking to him is just like, yeah, it is gonna be, like it just feels so disingenuous for some reason when he's talking. Did you get that when you heard them talking last night? You did see that promo, right?
I saw the promo. It's hard sometimes when you're in the arena. But yeah, I mean, to me,
yeah, I am so great that we talked. Yeah, like it just feels so disingenuous.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I like how they're actually like, they're like, this is the good thing about the New Day is we can chat about stuff and have grown men conversations. And Xavier's like, yeah, grown men and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, it's good that you tagged Jones last week and not me, though. Like, blah, 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 whatever. Like, he kind of says it in a way that's like, he just kind of says it to say it, but he kind of shuns off it. But it's like, you're bothered by that. You're bothered by that. You wouldn't have said it if you weren't bothered by it. I know you're acting like it's not a big deal, but if it wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't have said it at all.
Right.
Because it wouldn't be a big deal.
I really, really want it to be that they're setting it up to look like Xavier's turning, but it ends up being Kofi and Odyssey.
Yeah. I mean, I really want them to not break up.
I know you don't want that at all.
So
I think it's happening, though.
I think it is too, but I don't think it should at all. But the way they're doing it is intriguing. And it's good. And I like the little teasers. Yeah, they were wearing Power Ranger-esque uniforms last night, which I thought were very cool. I prefer the turtles. But they were wearing Power Ranger-esque, and Kofi had the Green Ranger. And Xavier Woods was in all black. He was wearing and I get it. Black Power Ranger, black guy. I get it. Makes sense. However, New Day don't wear black, bro. New Day is the group of colors. They wear bright colors and fun colors, and I like me some black, but those are carrying cross colors he was wearing last night. That black and gray, That's
Well, I mean,
that's what he was wearing, the same colors that Karrion Kross and that group wear. I don't care. Not
well,
saying
I
not
mean,
saying
I
it's
don't
gonna
know.
happen.
I don't know if any one group can really claim black
Well, no, but
as
I'm
a cult.
saying the black and white, the theme song, the thing that comes with that Karrion Kross group, the black and white promos, the black and white, all this stuff, and then he shows up with an all black uniform. I'm just saying. But I do think if they were going to break these guys up like it, if it officially happens, I do think what you're saying is something they could do where everybody thinks, oh, well, Woods is disgruntled. Woods doesn't like what's going on here. So Woods is going to be the one to turn. Right. But if they did the opposite thing and it was like, oh, no, Woods was right. Woods was disgruntled because, you know, Kofi and this big bitch turned on him. That's what, not ideal.
So it's really interesting. I really like how they've been doing this. And if it should, I mean, if it does end up being Xavier that turns, it's like, okay, I'd like to see him as a heel, see what he does, but I feel like the money is in Kofi turning. I feel like that's really it. It's like Xavier is showing this disgruntled side of him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not liking this," but he's doing the right thing, even though he's being disgruntled. He's doing the right thing, and he's putting the group over his feelings, just for then Kofi to go, "Oh, you know what? Now we're turning on you."
Yeah.
Even though you've not liked what we've been doing and you're putting up with it, well, too bad. Now you're screwed. Now we're beating you down. So I just feel like the money is there on Kofi turning rather than Xavier.
I mean, the money is not going to be there if they break up the New Day. Just saying, because your merchandise is going to go down the shitter.
Well, no, people aren't buying clearly New Day Xavier is going to take on the New Day.
He ain't gonna stuff. Yes, and I love Xavier Woods, and I believe in Xavier Woods. He is not going to move merch on his own. Like the New Day, like the New Day moves merch. No.
I don't know. I wouldn't count him out there.
Now again, the New Day has fallen so off from being at the top that they don't have a ton of merch. Last night they had one shirt. One New Day shirt. They don't even sell they used to sell the unicorn. That looks bad out of context. But they used to sell the, not bad, but you know what I mean. It's 2024. You can do whatever you want. But they used to sell the unicorn thing,
Yeah, I remember those.
What are you laughing at me for? Somebody is mowing the lawn right outside. I don't know if you can hear that. They're mowing the lawn. Can you hear that at all? It's loud as hell.
So
it's loud as hell. They're literally right outside my window mowing the. I'm like, you have to mow. Yeah. You're gonna mow the lawn in this one spot for 5 straight minutes. It's a big lawn. Jesus Christ. That's right. I pay people to mow my lawn. Get on my level. So that's not true. But yeah. I don't know. Don't break up the New Day. That's all I'm gonna say. So we got 2 world title matches, Drew. The first one is for the undisputed WWE Championship. We saw on SmackDown. SmackDown opened with Cody Rhodes, the champion, on an episode of the Grayson Waller Effect. I thought this was a good segment here, where they had Cody out there. They're kind of, they're trying to be cordial with Cody at first. They ask him about KO. Grayson Waller is like, this guy doesn't deserve to be a challenger. Like, why him? Cody then explains, he's like, look at KO's never stopped fighting. He's just deserved it, their friendship, and he's just always been a guy that has fought for everything and all this. And then Grayson Waller, whether you like to admit it or not, and I'm a big KO guy, Grayson Waller then brought up some pretty good evidence on why Cody maybe shouldn't trust Kevin Owens like he does. And they showed a little video, and it showed every time all dating back to his debut in NXT, like when he was in NXT with Sami Zayn, like all the way back. They showed that. They showed when he debuted against Cena. They showed when he turned on Kofi Kingston. They showed when he turned on Jericho. They showed the list of Jericho, which was awesome. That Festival of Friendship is still one of the best segments in the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
Should have been for the world title. Vince McMahon, go fuck yourself. So it was one of those things where they showed all of it, and I loved Owens, where Owens was like, hey, to be fair, all those guys deserved it except Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston didn't deserve that, but everyone else did. I thought that was very funny. He was just like, everyone but Kofi. No, he said it multiple times. Everyone but Kofi deserved it. Everyone but Kofi. I thought that was really good. KO comes out to defend himself. And then another thing that I laughed about with KO is when they were starting to get heated, KO being the logical one was like, Nick Aldis, can you just get out here and make this tag team match? Because we all know what's going to happen here. Like, he's like, let's not beat around the bush. Just make the match. Just make the match for later. And then Nick Aldis is like, okay. And KO's like, thank you. And he's like, we knew where this was happening. Oh,
what he said,
man, we're getting offers. We're getting offers, Drew, up the chute today.
I know.
Did I go live on Twitch by accident? I think that's what I did. I put us live on Twitch instead of Twitter. That's what happened now. That's why we're getting these Twitch things.
Are we not on YouTube right now?
No, we're on YouTube, but instead of doing YouTube and Twitter, which we normally do, I accidentally did YouTube and Twitch.
No, we're live on Twitter right now.
Are we? Oh, I did all three then by accident. Whoops. So we're on Twitch, which we're usually not on Twitch because I'm seeing these cheap viewers on. I'm like, why are we on Twitch?
Yeah, that's right. That's got a little Twitch symbol.
Yeah. So we're on all three today. God bless. I messed up. It is what it is. You guys get an extra way to watch our pretty faces today. You shouldn't be blaming me. You should be thanking me.
Just don't click on the link, Stacey.
Yeah, no, those people, Henry and whatever her name was earlier, forget those two. And then later on, we have this tag match where it's A-Town Down Under versus KO and Cody. Pretty good main event tag match. But at the end, Drew.
Oh, boy.
Cody is yelling. He's facing the ramp. He is yelling at Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. KO is getting into the ring behind Cody with Cody's belt. So a week prior, they had a little thing, and Cody went to grab his belt, and KO picked it up first and kind of put it in Cody's chest and just kind of walked off. That's what happened 2 SmackDowns ago. This past Friday, they have the opening segment. They have this main event. Cody. Ooh, all right. The match ends. Cody's yelling at them up the ramp. The commentary team is hyping up the Bash at Berlin card. And then it cuts back to the ring. And KO is standing behind Cody with the belt, holding the belt like he's going to hit him. Kind of MJF Adam Cole style, how they did it in like where it looked a few times like Cole was going to hit him before he did. He looks like he's going to hit him. He even does the I'm going to hit you with this belt walk. Like he's doing it like I'm going to hit you. Yep. And then Cody kind of turns around at the perfect time, and KO just gets into a normal walking stride, gives him the belt, and leaves. And that's it. And then later on, they embraced. He raised his hand.
The crowd was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So this was amazing.
Yeah. And they did a really good job at teasing it. So 2 things. One, remember I said 2 weeks ago, I like that type of stuff because that's what I thought that Tiffany Stratton was going to do to Nia Jax when Pretty Deadly were performing. Yeah. And then what's really interesting about this is that there's like a double story going on here. There's Grayson Waller and Austin Theory trying to tell Cody that KO can't be trusted. Yep. While at the same time, Cody is trying to tell Austin Theory that Grayson Waller can't be trusted. Correct. And Cody doesn't realize that what he's been trying to get Austin Theory to understand,
he needs to understand
Correct.
because KO's coming and he ain't
I
gonna see it.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
You don't think so?
I don't know, dude. I feel like there's been a lot of turns lately. Like, not everybody has to turn, right? This whole
Not
time you and
everybody.
I have been
Okay,
this
not
whole time you and I, for the most part, have been saying this should be a one-off. Hey, you earn this. You're my friend. You've helped me. You bust your ass. It's been a while since you've had a world title match. Let's have a good match. I feel like that's what this should be. I don't necessarily know that I want this to turn into, oh, Kevin Owens turn. And again, it's been a while since Kevin Owens has been a heel. I like Kevin Owens as a heel or babyface. He's excellent in both. Because what are you going to do? You're going to have KO turn on Cody. They have a couple month feud. Cody wins. And then what? Randy Orton's going to come back and turn on Cody. And it's the same shit. Obviously, the Randy thing has deeper meaning and a deeper story because of their history, but it would be the same thing. Oh, these are two Cody's partners turning on him. Great. I just feel like it doesn't have to happen with KO. I don't mind the teases. The teases are excellent. But like I would like one time for KO to be like, look, I know my past, but like I'm not that guy anymore. And then I would like it to actually him not to be that guy.
why tease it though?
Because you got to have some sort. You have to have some sort of intrigue going into the match.
But what is his motivation for doing what he did on Friday?
Oh, that I don't know. That's why, like, when it happened, I was like, but then I was kind of like, I wish they kind of didn't do that. I wish they kind of just would have kept it straight.
No, I mean, it was a great moment.
Oh, yeah.
But
I would have preferred them to just kind of keep it on the straight and narrow, that these two are just, listen. But the whole thing is the whole thing is based off of KO didn't want the match not because he didn't want it, but he thinks he didn't deserve it. And then everybody's been telling him, no, you do deserve it.
While simultaneously, he's been hearing from Grayson Waller
that he doesn't.
And he's been kind of agreeing with that more.
Yes, because that's how he feels. So now Grayson Waller's opinion. Yeah, Grayson Waller's opinions are on the same side as KO. So he's just like, But now they've thrown in the swerve where like KO was explaining to himself. Like he explained it to Cody. They had a backstage segment and KO was like, hey, man, like, hey, like all those people deserve that except Kofi. But like, I'm not that guy anymore. And Cody, what was Cody's response to that? Cody just said something like, hey, man, I only can, what did he say? Kevin says he didn't set this match up to soften Cody up. And Cody says all he can do is take him at his word and be ready. All I can do is take it for what it is and be ready, man. So they're already having KO is starting to like what's going on inside of KO's brain is starting to affect his, because now I feel like in Kevin Owens' brain, he's trying to convince Cody that he's not this guy. And even though Cody hasn't said like, I don't believe you, or Cody hasn't said, I'm expecting you to, like Cody hasn't said anything wrong, but I think KO is convincing himself that Cody doesn't believe him. Like that is what is going on. KO is convincing himself that everybody thinks he's going to turn, so he might as well just fucking turn because everybody thinks he's going to do it anyway.
I guess
that's where I feel like this is going.
That could be okay.
If they do it.
That could be the motivation for Friday's segment of him doing that. Then.
Yeah. That's the vibe that I get. If they go that route, I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping they have a match. You want to tease it after the match on Saturday, cool. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of just hoping they handshake and hug. And then it's on to different things. That's what I would hope. But I could see them pulling the trigger, KO turning heel, and then you get a couple months feud here with Cody and KO.
Because like while you were talking, it kind of like reminded me of like, it's so dumb, but it's kind of reminded me of like an alcoholic, like oh, everybody's like, oh, oh, they stopped drinking. Oh, they're probably gonna drink again. It's like,
yeah.
like not having the faith in him to not pick up a drink again, and then eventually because
Yeah.
they hear that so much, it's like, oh well, you know what? I'm picking up a drink now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's like the alcohol in this case is heel turn.
Yeah.
With
It's like
KO.
like there's only so many times you can do something where people are going to stop believing you. At the end of the day, it's the boy who cried wolf. Like, you can sit here and tell me that you're not that guy, but I've literally heard you say that to other people before that you fucking turned on.
Yeah, all the people that were in the video package.
You told Sammy multiple times, I'm not that guy that I used to be. And then you turned on him for the 9th time, way back when. Like, you've done every time leading up to
Ironically,
this. You've done the thing, Kev. So how can I believe you this time when you've done it every time?
Yeah, it's
the
funny thing is that it was kind of like Sammy that did the turning last time.
Yeah, that was a little different. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could sit here, Drew, and I could tell you, hey, we're gonna keep this show to 90 minutes and we're not gonna ramble. And then every week we go for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So by the 9th time that I tell you,
that's a shoot, by the way.
Yeah, we're not doing that. But you know what I mean? But like, by the 9th time I tell you, hey, this is going to go 90 minutes, you're going to sit there and you're going to go, no, it's not. No, you're not going to do that because you never do that. You told me that, but like, it's with anything. So again, I'm hoping they don't do the turn. I'm hoping, you want to tease it all you want, fine.
Yeah, it could very well happen that he doesn't end up turning and Randy Orton turns instead.
Because Randy is. That's a matter of when, not if. Randy's got to deal with
face promo though. I did enjoy his promo last night.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought. No, look, and we're gonna talk about it now. So Cody's winning.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I feel like these last 2 title matches, the winner are pretty obvious. What's going on here? The main event of the evening. For the last month, WWE has wanted to pretend that Gunther is German, even though he's Austrian. Not the same. However, even Orton said it. He's like, I'm in enemy territory. I'm like, no, you're not. This show is not in Austria. What are you talking about? But anyway.
Austria is next to Germany, isn't it?
It is, but it's not. They've openly been calling Gunther a German, like to his face. They've been saying, and Gunther's just like, yeah, all right. What? Anyway. It's for the World Heavyweight Championship. The one thing that, again, I thought the Orton promo was, I said sucked earlier. That was strong. I thought the Orton promo was fine last night. The part of it that I did like was when he talked about the lineage of the World Heavyweight title. Like the fact that he mentioned the old World Heavyweight title and how he was the youngest guy that ever won it and all this stuff. And then he talked about the unification match he had with Cena where it went away. And then he talked about, I liked how he kind of mentioned it like this new World Heavyweight title is like not the same lineage as the old one, but it's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the old one.
It's the old one, but it's not. It's a new title, but it's like almost built off the legacy of that one.
It's the new adventures of old World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, something like that. But I like that. I like that a lot. How he talked about that. Again, the promo was fine. I don't know. For a go-home show, I was just expecting more. But obviously, Gunther is not there. He's already in Germany. So you're not going to have another brawl type or like face-to-face or anything like that. But it is a single championship.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was actually, out of all the feuds going into this premium live event, I was surprised to not see some sort of interaction between these two.
Yeah, or at least like maybe like a big like hype video or vignette like hyping up them. It was just really like a cookie cutter. Like it wasn't a bad promo, but it was a cookie cutter promo from Randy Orton. Just kind of, saying things we've already known. Yo, John Bear, what's going on, my friend? Thank you for popping in the chat.
Hi, John Bear.
So we are at the main event, Drew. It is Gunther defending against Randy Orton. If Randy Orton wins, he will be transferred to Raw, and Gunther will be moved to SmackDown because obviously Randy Orton is a SmackDown superstar. But because of what happened at the King of the Ring, that's why we are here. So it is a rematch. Gunther won the first match at King of the Ring to win the King of the Ring, but both his shoulders were not down. And it is so Gunther, according to WWE, is on home turf. I'm expecting Gunther to get quite the ovation, even though he's not technically German. He is going to be the favorite here. Like the crowd is going to be 100% behind him, or 90, 85%, 85, 90% behind him, I would assume. Although Randy Orton is a guy that everybody loves. So I'm expecting this match to be even better than the first one. And I thought the match at the King of the Ring was,
aside from the finish, it
was excellent. Like really good. This match should be great. But again, no debate in my mind, Drew, that Gunther is retaining. He's not losing the belt in his first, like he's not losing the belt. However, I do think this should be a really, really, really good main event. And I think the crowd is going to be next level for this.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, thankfully, we've been having a lot of international crowds. Great for crowd reaction, also great for time, because boy, do I enjoy afternoon wrestling now. I'm gonna be real sad when it's not afternoon anymore.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, the environment is going to be really fun. They have not. Berlin is a new market for them, right? They've not done Berlin previously.
I mean, at least I can't remember them going there in my lifetime. Yeah, in my lifetime, I can't remember.
So that'll be really fun. And yeah, I mean, would I like Randy Orton to win? Yeah, but he's not going to. Just like Kevin Owens is not going to. So, you know, I like cards where it's more you don't know what's going to happen versus oh well, that person's obviously winning. But I fully entrust in all four. You know, I know we're talking about the main event, but even including KO and Cody, I entrust that all four men are going to have phenomenal matches, and it's obviously Gunther's going to win. But what next? What's after that?
For Gunther?
Yeah. I mean, they'll have, there's plenty of matches, but, you know. I'm more interested in what happens in Orton's loss than going back to SmackDown and what happens after.
I think that's when you start to see. I mean, it also depends. Like, look, if KO turns on Saturday, that's going to change what Orton's going to do by the time he gets back to SmackDown, I would think. If KO doesn't turn on Saturday and they end up shaking hands or whatever, or like they go that route where it is just a, you know, respectful whatever, I think Orton is turning on Cody imminently.
So however, it really depends on so in your mind it depends on KO.
Yeah, because if KO turns, they're obviously going to run that for another match or two. That's going to be a longer term feud. So you don't need Randy. I mean, Randy could go over there and get involved because the three of them have been teaming up for so long. So Randy could show up and be like, what the fuck happened when I was gone here? What the hell? We were all friends. I go over there for a month. I come back. What the frig? You know, like Randy could do that. But then again, like, because then what? Do you eventually have, before you get to Randy and Cody, then does Randy go, what? 5, what does that mean? Huh? I don't got kids. What are you talking about? What does that mean?
Listen, we cover AEW on Thursdays, pal. You don't have to.
I don't know what that means, but I appreciate you talking in the chat. You see, Learning Tree, is that a Jericho thing?
I was imagining so, but maybe
5 what is their 5
apples? I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
Thanks for commenting.
Yeah.
Um,
We're here on Thursdays talking about if that learning tree is an AEW thing, Thursdays at 10 a.m. Firmly AEW. We'll talk about that. I actually thought that match was actually all right. But anyway, we'll talk about that on Thursday. But you hear what I'm saying though? If KO, if it's on Saturday or on the next SmackDown, because another thing we have to take into account here too is there's only two more SmackDowns on Fox. So yeah, 5 servings of fruits and veggies. So this week and next week are the last 2 SmackDowns on Fox, and then they debut the week after on USA. And I just have a feeling that they're going to make that USA debut a big, big, big show. Because then you're going to have a couple months where they're
kind
on
of weird
both.
now, because I kind of feel like it would have been better if the first USA show was next Friday, not the following Friday.
I agree.
Because then they're going to do the fallout of this pay-per-view.
But I think you can do the fallout next Friday of this pay-per-view and set up some big matches, because there's no this is the September pay-per-view. So after this, there's no pay-per-view until October with Bad Blood. So we have like 5 or 6 weeks with no pay-per-view. So I feel like they could use that SmackDown. All right. Yeah. Great.
I went to the gym this morning, so.
Yeah, I didn't. I had a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant. Not healthy for me, and I made my own cold brew. That's how I roll.
I'm doing something crazy. I'm going to the gym at night.
I thought you said you were going early in the morning.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying a new thing where I like do cardio in the morning. So
do you do empty stomach cardio? Like you just wake up and go before you eat anything, like empty stomach cardio?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to vomit when I did that back in the day. It's dope. It's dope. I'd have the treadmill there and I just have a bucket.
Encouragement.
Just had a bucket. No, I'm not. It's good when you get sick. You lose more weight.
Well,
no,
healthy way, but whatever.
No, I remember working with a personal trainer though, in like 10 years ago. And he used to make me do empty stomach cardio. Like we would do early morning workouts. In the first 20 minutes, he was like, "You eat anything?" I go, "No." And he would go, "All right, 20 minutes of cardio. Then I'm going to give you a protein bar and then we're going to lift." And I'd be like, "Okay." And those first 20 minutes were easily the worst 20 minutes of my week. Easily. I felt, not because I was exercising. I mean, I'm out of shape. I built this desk on Friday and I felt sore until yesterday. That's how out of shape I am. You know? Carlito. You're mixing up your companies over there, Temples. You're mixing up your company.
I'm starting to enjoy this.
Carlito's not, he's in the other company. He's in the company we're talking about right now. That's not where the learning tree is. He does do the Apple shtick though, so that does make sense. But yeah, so I think the Randy stuff.
Carlito could be the cool Apple of Temple's learning tree.
That's true. That's true. That is true. That is true. For me, Drew. Yeah, I think the Randy's going back to SmackDown after this weekend because he's losing to Gunther. He's going back to SmackDown. I think what happens with Randy, it all depends on KO. It really does. Because like if KO again does not turn and they keep this straight and narrow and they're just friends and it was out of respect, then I think when Randy shows up, Randy's turning on Cody soon. But if KO turns, I don't think they're just going to have Randy show up and do it. Like Randy's going to try, I think, to be the good guy and try to get them to all, hey, I also wouldn't mind, again, Randy can't be losing all his big matches either. So it's like when you're thinking about what happens post this pay-per-view, where, like you said, where does Gunther go? I don't know. Where does Randy go? I don't know. Because if Randy's going to lose this one, he's lost all the other big matches he's been in. If he goes after Cody, I think he should beat Cody for the belt. And then Cody should probably get it back from him. But I think he should beat Cody for the belt. But like, would you be against a Randy Orton LA Knight feud for the US title? Or would you be against a KO LA Knight feud for the US title? Either way.
With Randy or KO as heels? Because LA Knight's not a heel. And he's very massive.
But heel. Do they really have to be? Like, at this point, does everything have, like, you know? Who else?
I mean, not everything has to be facing.
Do you think? Oh, do you think Randy and KO could continue to team and go after the tag titles with the Bloodline, even though I think it'll be Jay and Sammy or the Usos reforming at some point to take care of that. But do we see maybe when they go back over there, if KO doesn't turn and they don't do the ring? Because I think you could save Randy and Cody for Mania. I think that's big enough to be a Mania match with them two and that story. If you want to prolong it and have him not.
I have an idea. So I wonder if they don't turn KO.
Mm-hmm.
Randy comes back. Randy and KO try to go for the Bloodline and the tag title.
Yeah.
And then KO starts doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That he was doing with Cody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I see, like, I'm kind of thinking of in like the same way as like the New Day thing right now. Maybe KO starts doing what he's doing with Cody, but Randy turns on KO. Yep. Then you've got heel Randy to start the new year and go after Cody. Well, but there's also The Rock.
No, I kind of want Randy to be a good guy when he drops Cody.
You know,
like what? I need Randy to be a Randy babyface drops Cody, and it's like, oh, and it's like immediate, like what?
Randy babyface.
Yeah, but that's what I don't want Randy to already be a heel when he starts going after Cody. I want Randy to turn heel by dropping Cody with an RKO. That's how I want it to happen.
So they might wait a while for this. Then,
I think this could be the Mania main event for that title and Cody and Randy, and I would have Randy win it. To be honest with you, not like I don't mean Mania main event as in closing. I mean that's going to be the Mania match for Cody.
I don't know. Randy, I think The Rock is going to be the Mania match for Cody.
I mean, you could very much do that too. I would think they would do Rock and Roman first. I think they would do Rock and Roman.
They could do Rock. Or they could do Rock Cody at the Rumble.
Could. You could also do Rock and Cody. I mean, it depends on how long Cody's going to hold the title for. Is Cody going to have a 2-year reign here?
I wouldn't imagine so.
I think whenever we get to the Randy Orton Cody feud, Randy should win that belt from Cody, and Cody should eventually win it back from Randy. Okay. So I would be totally cool with, let's say they hold the turn and Randy turns on Cody after Survivor Series. And then you have Randy and Cody at the Rumble, and Randy wins the belt at the Rumble. And then you work to Randy at Mania where Cody gets it back.
I think the better thing to do would be for Rock Cody at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Roman screws over The Rock.
Could do that.
They have their match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And then Randy could turn on Cody after
Randy wins the Rumble.
Could do that. You think Randy wins the Rumble again, maybe? Third time. That'd be a 3-time,
right? Cody's won the Rumble already enough, so he's not going to win for a third time. I mean, also John Cena could also win the Rumble.
That he's my early pick, and I think it could be him and Gunther at Mania for that belt.
So then, how do we get Cody and Orton at WrestleMania?
You can get Cody and Orton at any time. You just need them to be in a ring together, and Orton needs to drop his ass with an RKO out of nowhere. And then it's like, yeah, bitch, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me.
We'll see. It's still early, so
yeah. I just don't know. We
gotta see what happens at Berlin first.
Yes, and I just don't know how you want to do it, because to me, and I've been saying this for a long time, the best and biggest story you have for Cody and his great first championship juicy feud we're going to get for Cody is when Randy turns on him. Because like the bloodline stuff, with the Roman, the bloodline stuff, it got a little long-winded clearly, but it was good stuff. Now it's true. Now the bloodline stuff with Solo and Cody for me hasn't clicked a lot at all. Really, like it was just kind of all right. We're doing this. the real best story you have for Cody is Randy. And if you want to hold it off for as long as you want to hold it off, that's fine. But I think it needs to happen soon. I think that's the feud for the fall and winter to me. It's Cody and Randy on SmackDown. Like that's the one right there.
So now, if KO doesn't turn them, they're saying if KO doesn't turn, then Randy comes back and they just tag team. But if KO does turn, then Randy comes back and also turns.
No, I think if KO doesn't turn, Randy will come back and turn sooner than later on Cody.
So Randy's
I think
if
if KO turns on Cody, I think Randy comes back, and I think Randy is kind of obviously they would continue KO and Cody, but I think Randy's involved.
As a babyface.
Yes.
And then turns on him after.
That's why I don't want KO to turn, because I don't want back-to-back friends turning on Cody.
Right. Yeah.
It needs to be protected for Randy, so when it happens, it's like, oh, we all knew it was coming, but like, oh my God, if KO turns and then 2 months later Randy turns, it's
right. Yeah.
You know, that's why I don't want KO to turn, because I don't want it to be.
What does Randy do if KO doesn't turn?
He's Randy. I can do whatever he wants.
He just comes back and turns.
No. If KO doesn't turn, I would have Randy come back, and I would have KO and Randy go after the Bloodline for the tag titles.
The Bloodline, okay.
And that's
then when
what I
they
would
lose
do.
That, then he turns.
Then he could even turn on again. I would rather him turn on Cody, but he could turn on KO first, and they end up feuding a little bit, and then. But I would rather just.
Well, but they could do an angle. Wait, but they could do an angle where Cody comes to save them, and then he turns on Cody.
I don't want Cody involved with the Bloodline anymore.
Well, yeah, because then
I don't want him anywhere
near. Convoluted.
If KO and Randy still want to go, fine, because they've really just been helping Cody with the Bloodline. KO though has had Bloodline issues forever, but like ideally, I would want all three of these guys away from the Bloodline. I'm just trying to think of how you would logically book KO and Orton if there's no turn, and they're just all there, because obviously Cody's going to be doing.
But then, so now here's the question. So we've been saying, what does Randy do if KO does or doesn't turn? What does KO do if Randy turns?
Yeah.
And it's not on KO.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
Well, what if they have this match again? We're just fantasy booking, but like, what if they have this match on Saturday? Cody wins, and there's no turn. There's just a handshake, a hug. Hey man, good match. Blah 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 blah. Randy comes back after a loss. They have a promo segment with all three of them next week on SmackDown, where Randy's in there and Cody's like, hey, Cody won at Bash at Berlin. The other two didn't.
Right.
And then that's when Orton turns. And then you could have KO stand up for Cody, and you could kind of do KO and Orton first before you eventually get to Orton and Cody. You could do anything you want, really. To me, I don't want anyone turning before Orton turns on Cody, because that's going to be a big moment, and I don't want another turn a month before, 2 months before to kind of dilute that. And I feel like if Cody's getting his friends turning on him one after the other, that is, even though the story is juicier with Randy because of the history, if it's one after the other.
Cody's Sting in this case.
Yes. I don't want that to happen. I want everything to be hunky-dory. Everyone thinks everything's good, and then Randy just, what? And then it's like, oh, here we go. Now we're in the driver's seat. Let's just go, man. Legacy. Let's talk about it. Let's go, dude. Let's go. But we'll see. It all depends on what happens on Saturday, really. All right. We're going to get out of here in just 2 minutes. Before we do, I want your opinion. How did you like the Uncle Howdy debut last night?
I loved it.
I thought it was good.
I really, really, I love that they're using Bray's music.
How'd you feel about him? Yes, go finish that story, and then I'll ask you the second question.
I think that it's such a great way to. I've been saying it ad nauseum every week. I feel like, but this is such a beautiful way to pay tribute to Bray. It really.
I agree.
They're using his music. He's doing some of his moves. and it works. And I think that is it my does he need to be wearing the mask when he's doing it? I don't know. I don't know if he needs to be wearing a mask with like the fake hair.
Well, that was my next question, because I was talking with Ophelia a little bit, because when we've seen the other three wrestle, they took off their masks and they wrestled with no masks. But Uncle Howdy last night wrestled with his mask on. But we've seen, even earlier in the night, there was another videotape with Bo Dallas with no mask. And we've seen Bo Dallas get his butt kicked by American Made. We've seen Bo Dallas without a mask in Pierce's office. So Ophelia messaged me on Twitter while I was there, and she was like, oh, I think it's, I find it funny that they had him wrestle on with the mask on where everyone else didn't. And I said, I think he's going to wrestle both ways. I think he's going to wrestle as Uncle Howdy, and then I also think we're going to see him wrestle as Bo Dallas. Like, I think he's going to go both ways. And I haven't watched Raw back. I probably won't watch all of Raw back with the commentary, but Ophelia said during the match last night, commentary kind of steered some of their verbiage in the way where that might be the case.
They called him both Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy.
So I think he's going to wrestle.
Whereas they did not. Oh, they did that with the Bray also. But Bray also wrestled as Bray and the Fiend.
And the Fiend, yeah, and he also, he like. I think that's what they're doing. Where Bo is going to be both characters, kind of like Bray was. He wrestled as Bray Wyatt sometimes, and then he would turn into the Fiend and wrestle. Like, I feel like
Bo. So you know what? I think Bo. I don't see where Bo would be wrestling as Bo Dallas, but I think anything that's not in ring is Bo Dallas, and in ring is Uncle Howdy.
Could be, yeah. Whereas I think the other three, and I think eventually, I think we're going to get a Nikki Cross Ivy Nile match here. I think that's going to be Nikki Cross's.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
First match is going to rule. I don't know if she'll be. I think she'll be without a mask too, but I'm not sure. She's never took the she's never taken her mask off either.
Right. Yeah, she hasn't.
So I don't know what they're going to do there.
That's so creepy.
Oh yeah. I don't know what they're going to do there, but I think we're going to find out what Nikki Cross does soon, because I think her and Ivy Nile are definitely. That's going to be Nikki's first match as Sister Abigail with Ivy. But I just wanted to get your initial opinion on that, because obviously that was a big deal. Just a couple days after the unfortunate 1-year anniversary of Bray's passing, that he got the debut last night, which was very cool. I thought the entrance, I agree with you. Using the music you can feel it. You can I was in the building and you could feel the lights go out and everyone pops and everyone's like, oh shit, here we go. But then when that music is hitting, you can feel the emotions of the arena in it. Like you can just feel it. And it's just, it's pretty wild. And like Ophelia said, like he had the wrist guard, like Bray used to wear, like the small, subtle tributes to Bray.
He did the dancing with,
and he did the yeah for Brody.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's right.
The little things like that, man, that is really, call me a softie, call me what you will, but that's the shit that really is like, man, I am into this because of.
Oh, you're gonna be trust me, you're gonna be calling me a softie on Thursday when we're talking about AEW.
Yeah. So it's just, I thought it was well done. I thought the match itself was, that was a match that wasn't going to be built around 5-star in-ring work. That's not what it is. I actually thought the way they did it was okay with kind of the extra, like that. How are you going to do these type of matches with these characters? Like, there's going to be nonsense that happens, right? Yeah. It's not going to be straight up, like that's just not what the thing is. But all right, on that note, we are going to get out of here for the day. Appreciate you all tuning in. We will be back bright and early, 10 a.m. Thursday morning for I almost said All Elite, but for Firmly AEW, where, really, it was actually Bray Wyatt's guard that he was using. That's even cooler. We will be talking All In Fallout. We will be talking the results of tomorrow's Dynamite. It'll be another great show. Lots to talk about.
Looking to be a good one so far.
It is. So lots of stuff we're going to have to talk about on Thursday. So join us then. But for anything else, Drew, let the people know where they can find you real quick before we get out of here.
You can find me right there at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter. That's it. I'll do the spiel on Thursdays. Tuesdays is like,
It's fair. You can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. with Drew on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. And then obviously I'll plug it on Thursday, but Thursday nights, 8 p.m. You know, between two beards with me and Pluggo. We got a special guest. I don't know if we've officially announced it. I think we might have, but I'll save it just in case we haven't. I'll announce it on Thursday. But we got a good guest on Thursday. So Scott, thank you so much. Ophelia, Learning Tree. Yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Johnny, Lawrence, the boss man, Oma, all you guys. I appreciate you. We'll see you very, very soon. For everybody. Yeah, man. We start at 10 a.m.
Literally right now.
Literally. We start at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you're here on Thursday, come a little bit earlier. We usually go from like 10 to noon. That's usually the time frame there. So appreciate you popping in at the end. But we're usually we're accidentally on Twitch today, so we're not normally supposed to be on Twitch. I hit a wrong button because I'm a fool. But if you got Twitter, if you got YouTube, follow Love Wrestling CA. You'll be able to find me and Drew every Tuesday and Thursday. But until then, for Drew, for myself, for everybody here at Love Wrestling, peace out.